everyone. It's Raza Von Werder, aka Kelly Everts. Both are, by the way, legal names. I did not change my name. I am talking about my private and personal life, and I'm now on video number 53. It is December the 3rd, 2018. I want to cover a few subjects that I will be addressing. I want to talk about very important, my religious life and my spiritual life, how they began, how it began, I should say, how my education and inspiration began, how I loved catechism and the nuns when we were kids. Maybe I'll talk about, I won't read right now my list of things, but just talk about one subject. We were children, we were all sent to catechism, and we went to church every Sunday for years when we lived in the city, when you could get to church by walking to church. Later, when we moved to the country, it was not possible, and we only went to church once in a while when Marius, my mom's new boyfriend husband, would get a job as an organist in one of the churches, and he took us, he drove us. Or else later on, my brother Jimmy learned to drive, and he would drive to church on Sundays, and sometimes, I always tried to go with him, but sometimes he got up and didn't wake me up, and I slept through it, or jumped up too late, and he didn't warn me, hey, get ready for church. He didn't care, and so I would miss it once in a while. But what I wanted to talk about was how he screwed up our first Holy Confession, almost, not quite, but near it. One day we were supposed to make our first Holy Confession, and I was about, I must have been 6. And my mother told us that after we did our school, I think it was the Lithuanian school, after we went to the Lithuanian school, do not stop in the park, because we always stopped in the park. There's a park between the church and our house, and we always stopped there to play after we did our, whatever we did with the church. And so she told us, make sure that you do not stop in the park and play, because as soon as you come home, we have to take you to the church for your first Holy Confession. So we left the school, and we were on our way through the park, and my brother stops to play. And I told him, Mother said we cannot do this. We must go straight home in order to go to confession, to make it on time, because one of the parents had to take us, I guess, to the first Holy Confession. My brother kept playing and playing and playing and playing, and I kept begging him and begging. I could not walk by myself all the way home. Begging and begging and begging, and he would not listen. And finally, after a long time, I don't know how long, it seemed like maybe an hour or more, finally gets done playing. And I'm telling you this to bring to you how my brother lacked character, and he lacked virtue, and he was given to obey my mother in evil and sin. But he didn't obey in righteousness. See, so now I'm obeying in righteousness, and he is disobeying the right. But when my mother told him to turn against father and be cruel to him and cold-hearted to him, he obeyed that. And when she said she needed help controlling me, which meant abusing me, he agreed to that. He obeyed that. So that is a person lacking character, and I believe he was a weakling. Some people are just weaklings. How are they weak? They're weak in the good things, but they're strong in the evil things. The bullies. Those who hurt others, those who hurt animals and people, those who hurt the environment, they are obedient to evil. And we have to remember there is evil. Everything is not love. Wouldn't it be? If everything was love, we'd be in heaven. And we can have a heaven on earth one day, and we will. When Mother God, the worship of Mother God and veneration of women comes back, we will have a heaven on earth. When women take over the family and the world, we will have the culture of life, so that will come back. But we're not there. Not saying earth will be 100% perfect, but right now it's so bad that a lot of people and animals are living in a quasi-hell. It's not quite hell, because there's always hope, but hellish situations, hellish states, with no love and with cruelty and torture. Okay, so now we get home and we're late. It's late. And my mother says, now you're not going to make your first holy confession. That was her personality. You're not going to do it since you're late. I said, it was Jim. And I went into our little garden. We always had a garden. It's a flower garden. I think there was a statue of Holy Mary in it. It was like against the wooden fence. And I went to the end of it, and I sat there just booing and boo-hoo-hoo, crying and sobbing. And I was crying my heart out. Well, Dad came home from work and came up to me and just took my hand and said, let's go. What? There was still time to make it. Took me by the hand and took me. And I made my first holy confession. And then shortly thereafter, he took me to buy my communion dress and for First Holy Communion, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I remember it clearly. He took me to the store, and we looked through all the dresses, and there were some dresses that were fluffy with many layers, tiers, you know, that classical 1860 Bella, Belle the Ball dress with many layers. It was white. And I remember that dress was $14, which was a lot of money then, around $14. But he found another dress that was $9-something. And that's the one he bought. And I knew my father was very thrifty. Very, very thrifty all his life. But this dress did not have fluff. The dress he got me was made of a material that had embroidered and open like a little hole of a heart and a cross, a heart and a cross, a heart and a cross. The entire material of it was hearts and crosses next to each other, little ones. And I know that that was a much more meaningful dress because it spoke of the Lord and His love. And it spoke of who I would become someday, one with the Lord and one in love with the Lord and His cross, because the Lord said, if you want to go to heaven, be with me, pick up your cross daily and follow me. So that was the appropriate dress, and when we came home, my mother got mad and told him she would have preferred that he had got me the dress with the layers. The fluff. that's she didn't think, I guess, about the meaningfulness. Although she wasn't an atheist. I mean, she was to some degree religious. You know, she wasn't an atheist. She was religious, but she was an abuser as well. All right. We'll see you in next.